Welcome to the Rich Girl Roundtable, episode number 12, with your host, Shar Modell.
And Lisa Sutton Gunderson. And today we are covering a table topic that I find really interesting. Have you guys heard of this? The friendship recession. Allegedly, it's really difficult and maybe even weird to make new friends after the age of 35.
But we're going to cover all the topics on what people are experiencing, what you're probably experiencing, trying to make new friends. It's a lot more harder than this, I feel like, lifetime than it was like even when we were kids. It's a different type of era. So how can we make friends after 35? Let's cheers to that.
Cheers to that.
I feel like Taylor Swift would love the friendship era. Friendship era after 35.
So the friendship recession is a kind of a news phenomenon and also something that has been taking over YouTube and social media recently. And essentially it is a few elements that are kind of all converging at once.
Yeah.
So you have this era of post-pandemic where folks obviously went through 2020 and even subsequent years of having either none or minimal in-person interaction.
Yeah.
And there was no advocacy for meeting folks outside of your maybe even immediate family or immediate circle.
I think it's definitely impacted that, the whole digital era as well.
Yes, exactly. So then there's the digital component of now more than ever, we're on our phones because we use our phones and our devices for all the things. It's not just for entertainment, it's for business. It's literally how some people run their entire businesses, their entire lives is from these digital devices. Again, requiring your attention to be here and not out and up or meeting people, talking to people. And then also this element of folks don't have to be in the office necessarily.
Right.
Where they can work remotely or be location independent. So not even working in a coffee shop is required, right? You can just work at home, literally at home. And not be around anybody.
We're going to dive deep into this, but I'm not going to let you stop us from getting into our Rich Girl Rant and Rave. She is ready to get into this. But that's what's coming up because, no, I think it's important. Actually, one of our top episodes was about making friends, and we realized that there was like such a need for it. So, but I want to hear about your week really quickly first.
Yes. Well, I would say my Rich Girl Rave was getting the opportunity to speak at Limitless, which is a conference that this was our 5th year hosting it. I've actually attended. I have perfect attendance because I've gone all 5 years.
Yeah.
This is a conference that my real estate mentor, Ken McElroy, is now also a dear friend, hosts this event. And it is such a special event because a few different reasons. One, I find great value in it simply because every single person who speaks there, and I would say myself included because I was a speaker, none of us are paid.
Right.
So I want to
your time.
yeah, I want to make that differentiation like quite clear. This is not kind of the normal like pay to play, you're on stage, that kind of thing, or they've paid your sum to be on stage. This is literally Ken and Tarl, who's his business partner with Limitless, who's an amazing real estate investor as well. They pick up the phone and they call people in their phones, like people they actually know who are operators, who are experts in their field, and they ask them to come.
I love that.
Yes.
It's such authenticity in a time where everybody's like paying to play,
yes,
you know?
Exactly. And so there is a speaker waiver contract form that you sign as a speaker for Limitless. And one of the bullet points on it is that you are not allowed to sell from stage.
Good.
So I love that, right? I love that not only as a speaker who's there, but it's also I'm an attendee when I'm not on the stage, right? And the quality of the speakers that they have, again, because they're all actual operators, they're actual experts, and they're not there to pitch you. Unlike probably every other conference that I go to, right? There is an element of, the pitch is coming. So I just love that it's truly like a collective of like sharing knowledge. They want everyone to win. This is why they host this. This is not some like big money maker for them. They make their money from real estate and other investments. This is literally a once a year, like they get all their friends together. They get like people they know together, and it's so fun. And so Saturday night, they had a gala, and they always do like a VIP party during the weekend. And this time it was this fun like black tie situation. And so kids are allowed to go. If kids under 18 can go for free to Limitless. And I just think that is like so incredible.
Yeah, you're like teaching them while they're young, you know?
Yes. And they're hearing these words of like, I'll speak for myself. The first time I heard the words, you know, cash flow or like EBITDA, it probably wasn't until my early 20s.
Sure.
And so it's not something that I necessarily grew up around, right?
Now your son is hearing it, and he's
my son's
like
1.5. Gabriel's 1.5, and he was there, and he got to just be around, right? Be around it. He was running around the gala because it was black tie, but we put him in a flight suit because he's 1.5.
It was cute. I saw it.
Super cute. And so he got to run around, and that is my rich girl rave, is the fact that not only was this great conference called Limitless, but I think there's something really special and important about the opportunity to include your kids in an experience like that.
It's rare when they allow that too. That's good.
And it was just so great for everybody.
Yay, girl. I love that for you. I have to go next year and
please
speak.
Yeah, I know it's always hasn't lined up for your schedule, but it is
next year.
I find such value in it, and like there's just amazing sorry, I know this is like long story long, but with just one last thing. The panel that I was on, one of the speakers, this guy, Steve Gatena, he owns pray.com, like Pray. Pray.com.
Wow, that is real estate.
Oh my gosh. No, it's
online.
Like, yeah. And literally, I mean, they have millions of downloads a month.
Oh my gosh.
Right? I mean, this is like a huge business, right? Pray.com. And this is how you know, like, there are no coincidences, right? Like, this is like, God is a plan if you believe in God or Jesus or just, you know, the universe has a plan. He was in the same Air Force Academy as Josh. Air Force Academy class.
The one that owns Pray.com?
Yes.
Wow.
And so we like all connected, and he was obviously a gem. He was like so wonderful and so kind, and just like
I'm glad.
Oh yeah.
Like wouldn't it be the worst if somebody owned Pray.com and he was like the worst human you've ever met?
No. He was wonderful and just just such a great person. I was just so happy to meet him, and he shared some great nuggets just about like their business, how they operate things, you know, and but I love that like Pray.com, like his whole thing was every time that they post, he asked himself, what do I want the audience, or like what do I want them to feel? And he's like, I want them to feel hope.
I love that. Putting energy behind something that you're posting, especially with a site like that.
Yeah.
So does Limitless include real estate that's online as well as like real estate?
So they are focused on real estate. They're focused on multifamily in particular, just because that is like Ken's area of expertise, for example. But they also cover just like business and assets, right? So like one of Ken's longtime business partners is a guy who literally they own I think it's goldandsilver.com. Like it's like
wow,
it's gold, right? Their biggest portion of the business is literally dealing with gold as a hard asset, right? Obviously everyone knows Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad Poor Dad. And then you had guys there that you know, critical minerals, mining, and then like business, right? Like business buying, different types of businesses. And Ryan Micheletti, who's one of my partners with the Veteran Fund, he was actually on a panel with Ken about diversification because he was there to talk about VC investing and defense tech. You know, you don't have to have all your eggs just in the real estate basket, right? You can diversify, and you can take some of that cash flow from real estate, and instead of buying more real estate, you can diversify it, right?
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go next year.
You have to come. It is great. Yeah, that was my rave.
I feel like I'm bending over, and it's like really awkward. Sometimes I just have to fix my shit. Whoever's just like listening and watching, they have no idea I'm like fixing things. I'm like trying to groom myself. Okay, I think we're set. I have a rich girl rant / I have to be honest too. Sometimes like things happen, and it's literally nobody's fault. Like when it comes to who invited me to X, Y, and Z. And I went to, first off, I love that F1's here now. I think in the beginning, a lot of us kind of were apprehensive about F1
The
coming.
locals were a little nervous, I feel like.
We were. I mean, it's still a nightmare to try to drive when they're setting it up. Anyways, that's not fun. But I love to go to the events. I have such a blast. It's just a fun. They've looped me in, and they won me over. So the Grand Prix Plaza, I've been to it last year. I went and had so much fun, and I raced with the go-karts. And this year they invited me back for the 100 Days Till F1 party, which was just really cool. It was like a free event that you could go and see the cars set up, and they had a lot of giveaways, and it was just like leading up for fun to the big event this year.
This is the rave part.
This is the party. This is the rave. It was really fun and cool, and I'm really grateful for the opportunity. So I just want to preface it by saying that. But when it comes to the racing, which I did last year, not the simulator. The simulator is fine.
This is the go-karts.
This is the go-karts. They go very, very fast. And so do I, girl. I was in the top. I was like number 7. I didn't do too bad. I was like number 7.
Yeah.
Out of, I don't know, 15 or something, you know, even though I got injured. But if you have, I sound like an ad on TV, but I had to say it. If you have any prior injuries, just be aware that you can get injured when you're go-karting because they even tell you, like, we have to watch a video, no fault to them. It just happens sometimes. And I was go-karting, and there was a couple of people who were a little bit, I could tell, nervous to go fast. And we were all kind of going around them fast. And 2 people in front of me just came to almost a complete stop, which is pretty dangerous for the rest of the track.
Yeah.
And I was behind the 2 people when somebody came barreling around, and they're not supposed
From
to
behind
be,
you.
yeah, and smashed me into the 2 people in front of me. And I not physically, I wasn't smashed, but I had whiplash really, really bad. And I got out of the car, and I was like shaking because it shook me so hard. I knew I was injured. And I was like, Jeremy, I'm hurt. I have to go. Like, I'm going to start, like, I was going to cry. And I was just like shook. And I was just angry in the moment because that guy, you're not supposed to hit people. Like, you should have control of your vehicle. There's no reason to slam into people at all. And
it's not bumper cars.
It's not bumper cars, dude. You can't be. It can be dangerous. This is like a real racetrack. And so we get home, and he's like, are you okay? And I was like, I don't think so. Like, something's not right. And then anyway, I got checked out. Now I have a sprained back, a sprained neck, a major headache. It's like radiating all the way down. And they were like, yeah, you can't work out for at least a week. Come back the next 2 appointments. So anyway, I can't work out, and I work out every day. And so for me, that's like how I channel my stress and anxiety, just in life in general. I have a lot of energy, and I need to put it somewhere. So when somebody tells you don't even walk as much, you know, like for exercise, you're just like a sad puppy. And so I'm just like bummed that I can't work out for at least, I have to go back in a week to see when I'm cleared. He's like, don't even walk. I was like, what can you do? And he's like, you know, those South Beach exercises, you know, like you're like this and you just like wave.
Do you
your
do like
arms.
water aerobics? Like
Probably
senior water aerobics?
Right. That's like probably all I can do, guys. So anyway, I just want to send out a warning that you can get injured. They tell you that, but you never think you will, right? And then I was, you know, it happened to me. And so no fault to them. Would love to go back, but I'll probably just do the simulator. But anyway, that happened.
That sucks. I'm sorry.
Bummer. Anyway, I'll be all right. It's all fixable. It's just that like telling me not to work out and then the pain and stuff. I was just like,
well, and moral of the story, like, don't pretend it's bumper cars if it's a go-kart track, dude, whoever that guy was.
I know. I mean, like, Jeremy was like, who was it? And I'm like, well, what are we going to do? Pummel him when he gets out of his car? Like, you know, that's a normal boyfriend reaction. But of course, we weren't going to do anything. But he was just going to be like, hey, dude, like, you have to slow down. Like, you can hurt
That's not
people.
Cool. Yeah.
I didn't want to make a scene. Like, we don't want to, you know, if you have one, if you see this, I want to come back. I just, you know, but we also need to be very clear that you can get hurt. Like, I wouldn't want somebody, especially like older, who could have fragile bones or something like that could really wreck you. So I think they need to like maybe explicitly say a little bit more that like you can get hurt.
Or like those bad actors, if that guy's like actually doing that kind of stuff on, because there's some people who will, right?
Yeah,
they'll do that kind of stuff on purpose. They should just pluck him right out and be like, sorry, you're done.
They're supposed to.
Know?
I think that was the only thing that they didn't do right is you're supposed to flag them. And he had smashed some people into the wall, and they were probably okay. It's just I got hit behind and I was at a stop.
That is super annoying. I'm sorry.
Okay, moving along. Now, it's so freaking weird and awkward sometimes to try to make friends after your 30s. I have to say that I personally, this isn't my experience, but it's an experience for a lot of women around me who tell me like, oh my gosh, I struggle making friends. And it's not my experience on a personal level because I started making friends in the city in 2010. I have been here for how many years now? Almost 17, 16.
Yeah.
And so I've maintained a lot of those friendships and built up a rather large network. But that was a time and age that was able to make those friends before this whole like digital era, post COVID. You know, like older people get busy, set in their ways. They have to juggle family work. And so I actually am kind of curious to see, I hear it from my friends. I have friends that are like, man, I struggle to meet people, especially when they're like in a small town. Not all of my friends live here. And they're just like, I just can't find anybody like me. And like, it is a struggle. And so we want to talk about it more and just kind of help you get some tools and resources and some advice. And we're going to talk about some of the topics we found online too regarding this.
Yeah, and even in larger cities too, right?
Yeah.
Maybe, you know, whether it's like a Miami or something like that, which has its own, I guess, kind of stereotypes around people,
Sure.
and, you know, friendships and things like that. But, you know, I think whether it's rural areas, urban areas, there is, but like there's news articles now starting to come out, and there's like studies that are starting to take place where, essentially, like the way that the world is now in 2026 somehow, like, strangely makes it harder for people to have good solid friendships, like to form new friendships.
Yeah.
35 plus.
Yep.
And I think that's something that we really have to make a concerted effort of like realizing like this is out there, this is a thing, because
You've got to have friends. Yeah.
there was a study, I think it was like Harvard or something, but it was a study where it was talking about like people's level of happiness, right? And it had nothing to do with like the amount of money in the bank, or any sort of like material things. It was the quality of their relationships.
I could believe that.
Yeah, the quality of their relationships. So not even necessarily like their marriage, right? But obviously that counts as a relationship. But, you know, this was even taking into account, let's say, really elderly folks who maybe their spouse had passed already. But it was taking into account the quality of their relationships, and maybe that's whether that's with their adult kids or their neighbor or just a friend, like a girlfriend of theirs or a guy friend of theirs. And it basically said, people who have strong interpersonal relationships, you don't have to have a ton of them. It was like 2 or 3 strong interpersonal relationships, literally had not only longer like lives, but like a better quality of life, where they judged themselves as happier.
Yeah.
Like if it was a scale 1 to 10, right? They judged themselves as like feeling happier, feeling more content than folks who didn't have quality relationships in their lives, regardless of age.
Yeah, I believe that. And I know we talk about women obviously on this podcast, but I know that it's impacted men massively, even more excessively.
That's also a thing now.
And so we speak to both audiences, especially on this topic, even though this is, you know, Rich Girl Roundtable is definitely directed towards women, but everybody's affected by this. It's especially not just women.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, let's go through some of the bullet points that we
prepared. I because there was so much on this topic, and we thought it was really important for us to bring up. So essentially, you know, if you feel like you're in a bit of a friendship recession, there's a few things. One, it's not necessarily like a blame yourself. Sometimes it is circumstantial, where maybe you've moved away from, whether it was high school friends, college friends, friends you'd made, you know, post-schooling from when you just lived in a certain area, right? Like there are great friends of mine in Miami who I wish I saw them more often, right?
Yeah.
But I literally don't see them as often because I don't live there anymore.
Exactly.
So that does happen. But, you know, it was essentially, we were just kind of like reading down a list of like, you know, built-in social circles disappear. Like we had talked about, kind of like that forced proximity does disappear.
Yeah. And also like your high school friends, some of you have had college friends, high school friends, and then you kind of go down different paths and you're kind of sad and you're like, that friendship dissolved and we were friends for 10 plus years or all of my life growing up. And it's hard to, don't try to replace a friendship that you had. Like, don't try to replace that person. It's going to be somebody new and it's going to be different.
Yeah.
You kind of evolved into somebody new, and then you need somebody where you're at in life, a new friend, and it's not going to be the person that you had growing up. So you won't always have the same memories tied to that person, like that nostalgia that you had. Oh, I remember getting on the bus with them, or you know what I mean? Like playing together as kids growing up. You have all these memories, and it's not that you have to let those friends go, but having new friendships that you form after 35 especially it's different because you've already been through several stages of life. And so you kind of have to meet people where they are and understand that like it's okay if you don't have all those built-in memories for years when you're used to having those friends, you know, like you're building new ones with this person and you kind of have to let the guard down a little bit to do that.
Right. Absolutely. So those built-in social circles disappear. The next reason could be that essentially everyone's schedule is a nightmare.
Oh my gosh.
Let's be honest, right?
Like,
it's
I
hard.
know. And I go through spells too. And how many of us are like, hey, let's make plans.
Let's
and then
get
we
together.
don't.
Yeah.
And then
we don't.
we never, ever do. I'm guilty of it. I have friends that I was supposed to see like 2 months ago. And then what I will do during the busy times, at least like try to stay connected in some way. Like you can FaceTime during that time. I leave voice notes. I know there's some people that, oh my gosh, they really hate.
They hate a voice note.
They hate a voice note. I'm a voice note girly. So 2 of my friends will leave me voice notes and some of them will leave them up to 10 minutes long. But I listen to them when I'm walking. And so, you know, but again, this is not in replacement of seeing people in person. And I think this is where it becomes an issue and the loneliness kicks in is like, you can only have so much online. Like you have to have that physical meeting, human interaction, a hug, you know, like I just don't think it's the same always to keep it always online. You know what I mean?
And to that point, my friends who live out of, for example, like Andrea Fox, right? She's a girlfriend of ours she's a former Miss Texas. She lives in Dallas, Texas. Obviously doesn't live in Vegas. I probably see her, I would say anywhere between like 4 to 5 times a year. And it's crazy because I feel like I see her actually more often than sometimes some of our girlfriends who live locally in Vegas. But it's because we pre-plan, right? We actually like schedule time where it's like in the calendar. And because there's travel involved, then it's more locked in, right? It's not just like meet for a coffee in 2 weeks and maybe a meeting pops up or maybe something happens where you're like, okay, I've got to slide this.
It's also like fun because now you made like a travel plan and it's like tied to a memory of traveling and doing exciting things or catching up.
Yeah, exactly. And so that kind of slides into, you know, maybe sometimes you're feeling like a friendship recession because you have to be the one initiating, right? I think that can be that. I think that can also tell you, you know, who in your life is also reciprocating effort, right? If you are constantly initiating and always the one to ask, and invite,
it never feels good, you know what I mean? Like you're trying to get somebody's time and energy, and look, you can't take that personal either. We only have so much bandwidth and capacity for how many friends that we can keep really close or even see, and like maybe they're just not your person. Like as a friend, you know, you need to find somebody who has time for you equally, or you will feel neglected. It's not going to feel good. It feel like rejection, you know?
Yeah. Well, what that one slides into, you know, rejection hits different after 30.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
What do you guys think? Does rejection hit different after 30?
And it also kind of like can trigger an emotion if you were rejected or made fun of, or you know what I mean? As a kid growing up, it kind of pulls in like memories where you felt that rejection. And then you're like, as an adult, I don't know, if you don't feel good about yourself and then you get rejected from a friend group, you're like, am I good enough? Like, am I, what's wrong? Like, why don't they want to hang out with me or include me? And again, like it's hard, but you gotta try to not take things so personal and just accept that it's not the right friend group or it's not the right friend for you, because you will find somebody. Like there's enough people out there who are lonely. This wouldn't be like an epidemic if people needing friends and being lonely, if it weren't the case. Like there's definitely somebody that needs your friendship and you want theirs, and keep looking for it, you know, actively.
Yeah, absolutely. The quality over quantity shift. Maybe there was times in life, maybe like at a younger era of just wanting to have a lot of like friends and a lot of options and be part of like the big group.
Yeah.
And now it seems to be flipped where it's more focused on quality over quantity. I would say that's for sure like post 35 for me.
I do feel like you and I have big friend groups though, if we're being honest. But then I think about like, you have to understand how much we got out there over the last
I view it as like a large network. Like I think I have a large network. I don't know necessarily that it's like tons of friends.
I don't know, girl. You have a lot of
know.
friends. I do too. Let's be real. Meaning, like, we could call up at least 10 people on our phone and have them come to like a birthday celebration if we really wanted to. We could find 10.
That's true. I have had some big birthdays.
That's a lot
in
of
the past.
people. But let me say that we've been a friend to other people. So, and that leads me to one thing too. That whole idea that, like, I hate small talk doesn't matter is a total and complete lie. Because small talk leads to deeper conversations. And so I have been in a lot of situations where I was around 15 girls, 10 girls, and we were at an event or something. And yeah, you get the, hi, oh my God, hi, how are your shoes? We started out like that. I ate up the small talk. And then I asked questions. And then they asked me questions, and then they went into it. And so, like, I know there's this idea that circulates the internet that, like, small talk doesn't matter and, ew, I'm too good for small talk. It's kind of a lonely road because how do you get, I'm not trying to dive deep right away. I actually don't think that's a good play.
Right.
I'm not going to go in there and be like, I saw you got divorced last week. I just met this person. How'd it go?
Yeah.
They may not want to share these things off bat. You have to build trust. And in order to build trust, you have to start with a smaller conversation first that leads to a deeper one.
I was just going to say, in order to be vulnerable, there has to be trust. And how are you going to build the trust? It's through those reps. It's through that experience of spending time with that other person.
Yeah.
And either they've said something that resonates with you, or you feel some sort of alignment, or you just like their vibe and you want to spend more time with them.
Yeah. I think, and also this is a good kind of like, networking can lead to friendships. And sometimes it will start as something a little bit on the surface. Maybe you are just talking about what you do. Maybe you just talk about, like, maybe you like their outfit and you're just talking about that.
Yeah.
But that opens the door. I guarantee you and I didn't run deep on our very first meeting years ago. Like, what happened was we had a good time together and we enjoyed the lightness of the conversation and we had fun. And so I just push back on the idea that everything has to be, like, deep.
Right.
You do not have the capacity or emotional energy to give deep and depth with everybody. You can't.
No, it's not possible.
So you end up with friends that you like, my close circle. These are the ones that they keep up with my life. I keep up with theirs on a very deep level. And you might connect deeply, kind of going back and forth with certain friends, But how would you keep up with everybody that you met that way?
It's not possible. Yeah.
Sometimes it's fun to have a small talk and don't knock it. Sometimes it's fun just to be like, I don't have to explain everything going on in my life. I can just have this chill coffee date or go out for a couple of drinks with a girlfriend and we can keep it light and have fun. And that's good too. Yeah.
I completely agree. And so with all these elements of, kind of layering in that are apparently resulting in this friendship recession that people are experiencing, we came up with a few ways to fix it.
Of course.
10 of them, actually. So in no particular order, lowering the bar on real friendships, meaning, to your point, that, like, not everything has to be this, like, deep, vulnerable, soul to soul. Every conversation has to be that way, right? Or that every time that you spend time with someone, that it has to be some sort of, like, deep, meaningful event that you guys experience together and all these things. No, actually, it could just be fun and light, and it could be drinks with the girls, or it just could be watching a movie that's hilarious and laughing together.
Yeah.
And that's that is an element of enjoying that relationship.
I actually consider people who think that everything needs to be deep and has to kind of keep up with you. You know what I mean? Like, everybody's like, got to be deep, got to be this. They're kind of emotional vampires. And they, like, need something from everybody that they come in contact with. I need you to know me on a deeper level. I need to share everything with you for you to get me. You're actually an emotional vampire. Like, I don't feel like that's too much to put on the weight of a friendship that you just met with, like, somebody you just met.
Right.
That kind of vulnerability should be only tied to the friendships that you've really been building. Like, you shouldn't give it away to everybody, and you shouldn't expect it in return. So when you come at people going deep and going hard right away, it's like, and then you expect that in return, it's like, hey, dude, like, that's not really how it works. Like,
it can actually sometimes make people feel uncomfortable.
It makes people uncomfortable when you start oversharing right away. Depending, and you have to be respectful of that some people take time to establish the trust. So it's just funny to me because I see this in, like, quotes and reels, and it's like this, like, idea that everything has to be, like, deep and meaningful. And I actually think it robs people of, like, the little joys that can be light, you know?
Yeah, completely agree. Stop treating it like dating in the sense that not every friend that you have who's in the circle, right?
Yeah.
Has to be your ride or die BFF,
Everyone's my best friend.
right? It's a
We've
little
all
much.
had that,
It's a little
though.
much.
Have you? I feel like everybody's experienced that one person that wanted to be their BFF
Yes.
no matter what.
Yes.
But it was like too much. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Like they just so desperately, there's something in them that was maybe lonely, felt the rejection, just so
Yes.
desperately
Or
wanted a
like
friend.
not confident. And so they
Yeah.
just very much wanted to, and you're just like, I can't give that to you.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot right now.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's real. Going to the same place twice a week or whatever cadence works for you, but like, you know, having that kind of proximity, repetition, like you start seeing the same faces, right? Like we were just at Zero Bond before this, getting some work done together and catching up, and putting our notes together for this episode. And just seeing that even like the staff members at the front, they're so pleasant, so kind, but it's the same folks, right? And it's because we have a repetition, there's proximity that happens. So whether it's going to the coffee shop that's in your neighborhood, or you know, whatever is nearby, but having that proximity and repetition is a very, very organic way to meet new friends.
Yeah.
And generally it's going to be friends who are kind of like easy to hang out with because it's a place that you're already going.
Yeah, and I suggest like the co-working spaces we've talked
that's
about
right.
before. Sometimes it's helpful because you get a lot of business owners, entrepreneurs who are there working alone and they're looking to connect with other people. Otherwise, they would be working at home.
Yes.
Like the one thing about like those co-working spaces is like a lot of times people are there to meet people. They're there hoping to make connections. Like otherwise, like I said,
they just work at home.
Exactly.
Yeah. I like this one. Make the first move and own it, whether it's, you know, texting first, inviting first, suggesting the plan, offering to organize the group. So at Limitless, one of the panel members was this amazing woman named Trixie Castro, and I actually had been introduced to her very lightly prior and years before, and we just never really connected, never nailed down a time to chat. I got to know her better these last couple of days, and I just think she's phenomenal. And I have no qualms about like I'm the first to text, right? I'm just like, hi, it was so great to meet you. I'm so excited for us to, you know, XYZ. Like I don't need to, you know, be like, oh, well, they have my number. I hope they text me.
Yeah.
If I want to get in touch, like I'm definitely just going to text you, you know? So I do think there's an important element of just, hey, like it's okay for you to be the first to make the outreach.
Yeah, taking
an initiative. Yeah, exactly. Initiate the friendship.
And you might get rejected sometimes too, because people are busy. I get genuinely busy and I feel, you know, some guilt to that as well. It's not that I don't want to see someone. Sometimes you go through spells where you're like putting out fires or it's just a busy season. And if they say, you know, hey, let's get in touch in a month or two, don't be like disheartened. Just legitimately circle back and like try to hang out again, you know?
Yeah. Another way to build up a new friendship circle or meet new friends, join something structured.
Okay.
So whether it's classes, a league, groups where an agenda is already in place. And I do think, like you mentioned, the co-working spaces, right? So being in something that's already kind of structured, and that way you just show up.
Could be like pickleball. There's people that literally walk together in the mornings, or there's a run club that's actually caught fire at people love to run together. It's off. There's a lot of things that are active, but then there's a lot of things that's not. There's literally a bread making club. You know what I mean? So there's something out there for everyone, and you can check Facebook groups is a really good place to check. There's meetups.
Yep. Meetup.com. Yeah.
And so honestly, you could even run it in AI to suggest in your area to pull from like what places could I go and, you know, what type of meetup groups are surrounding me. So you don't have to just Google anymore. AI can pull it for you. But there is a level of proactivity that you have to take. Friends don't just like land in your lap, and they never have for me or you. Like there was something we showed up for, or we, you know, took the initiative, and you need a little level of confidence in yourself too when you do that, that like, I belong here. I bring something to the table. And being a really good friend is bringing a lot to the table these days, honestly. Like
Yeah.
Like putting in effort's huge because there's a lot of people that don't put in effort anymore.
Well, and even taking it a step further, not just a friend, but
Mm-hmm.
also my husband, right? I met Josh because I attended an event that I almost didn't go to.
Oh, girl, you'd be without a husband and child.
That's what I'm saying, because it was a Sunday and it was raining. Like, it never rains in Vegas, you guys. It never rains. And when it rains, people are like, "Oh no, I can't
I'm
leave
not
my house."
coming.
Yeah, we are not
I'm
accustomed
gonna wear the
to rain
vinyl
here.
dress.
Yeah, like it was a Sunday and it was raining. So it was like 2 strikes.
Oh.
Right? It's like, we're basically not going to this event.
But you still showed up.
Yes. Yeah.
Gosh, there's so much to be said about like showing up for things and just kind of getting out. It's so easy to just also you'll have moods where you're like, oh, I feel good. You drink some caffeine, you get hyped up. I feel great today. I worked out. But then you forget that you're alone and you're lonely a lot, like especially if you live alone, or you know what I mean? Like maybe you only have a significant other and nobody else. Maybe you just, or you're a mom and it feels like you're just with your kid all the time, or your baby, and you don't have time to yourself. But don't forget those times that you feel that way when you feel good, because it's not just you. Like you do need companionship outside of like your significant other.
Yeah.
You do need female friends.
Yep.
They do make your world go round.
Yeah.
They are going to be the ones that are with you through life when you find the right ones. And I can't tell you how fulfilled I feel in my life from my girlfriends, because I don't have a lot of family, you know? And so my friendships mean so much to me that they're family members to me. Like I hold on to them for life when they're good, you know what I mean? So like I would be so lonely had I not made friends.
Absolutely.
Like so lonely.
Yeah.
You know, and some of you don't have a lot of family or you're new. And anyway, there's just, especially in Las Vegas, there's an abundance of opportunities. There's no reason to feel alone. Even when you're not in the city, I feel like people are starting to see that it's an issue and pop up with different ways to meet people.
So another one that we have on the list for you guys, be the one who suggests deeper conversations, sometimes early on, in the sense of like, ask real questions and be curious, right? Be willing to be curious about new people that you've met or new people in your life that you maybe want to deepen the relationship with and like have a better friendship with. And like, you know, you're like, oh, you know, I really liked her. I want to get to know her better.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's on you to like put that out there. One, do the invite, right? Or coordinate the group to get together, and then ask the question.
Don't be the person who just keeps rattling off who you are, what you do, and what happened during the week. It's just like the turnoff of like, you remember, has anybody ever been on a date with a guy and they never ask you a single question? Because like I have. And you just immediately get the ick. You can get the friendship ick when that happens too, especially when you're with somebody that's like trying to kind of overcompensate and like make you know what I mean? Where they're like, oh, I did this and I'm connected to this.
Or a name
person,
dropper.
The name dropper
is
all,
tough. Yeah.
You know, like
it's
it's just not gonna. Nobody wants that. It doesn't work on anybody. If it did work on somebody, it's not going to be the type of person that would be a good friend. Do you know what I mean? Like you're not going to attract the right type of person from that. So don't let you trying to be confident means that you don't ask questions. Like, you know, trying to oversell yourself.
So another tactic could be used. Try batching your social life. And what that means, so batching your social life is essentially, for example, we've got some plans in September for your birthday and another girlfriend's birthday.
Shout out Megan.
Yes. Batching social life is you know, picking whether it's a pre-planned event around like a birthday, or saying, hey, we're going to do brunch on the second Sunday of the month, or even the Backstreet Boys last year, right? Where it was like, so I sent that out in advance, months in advance. I sent the text to, you know, the girls, and I was like, mark it on your calendars now. I think it was August 1st, but mark it on your calendars. We're going, you know, this is the night we're going. Please mark your calendar. So you kind of batch it where it's pre-planned in advance, instead of these kind of little like, oh, let's meet for coffee here. Let's meet for coffee here. And just kind of like bumping around. Batch it where it's like, maybe it's a little bit of like a more planned thing, or a bigger event, or around a special occasion, like a birthday, where it's poignant, it's specific. There's no like rescheduling it, because it can't be rescheduled.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like the birthday can't be rescheduled. The Backstreet Boys concert could not be rescheduled, right? It was like, that's the date. Make effort to be there.
Put something in your calendar, like even monthly or weekly, that that it's like, okay, like let's commit to this as a friend group that we are going to show up for this. We're going to make time. We're going to find the babysitter. We're going to move our schedules around with our clients or whatever it may be. We're going to make an effort to be there. And even if you don't make it this month, then the next month. So it's like, I think it's so important to get things in the calendar. I think you're right.
Yes.
And then, and the people, there's excitement that kind of like leads up to it. And also it may sound like against kind of what we're talking about, but it's not. Stay socially connected in between because there's so many friends that's like, because they post on Instagram and they do their stories, I feel connected to their life. So when I go and talk to them, I feel filled in just a little bit. And I'm not trying to stay up with everybody. I have my close friends list, and the people that I really want to stay close to and figure, what's going on in their lives, I add them to that list. And then it's like, maybe sometimes they're going to something. It's like, oh, I'll be there too. Like, I'm going to go to that. I'm going to go to that concert. I'm going to go to that event. And I think it's just like being mindful of the time that you spend on social platforms to stay in touch with people who really do mean a lot to you. And then that is like a way, like I said, to stay in touch, to make the in-person meeting and to feel like still connected to that person when you don't see each other.
Exactly. Absolutely. So another tactic, if you are feeling like you're in a bit of a friendship recession and you're wanting to branch that out, recruit existing friends to help recruit.
I love that.
Right?
Yeah.
Ask your existing friends if they know someone that they think you'd vibe with as a friend.
Bring them to lunch or something.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All about the vibes.
I love that. Yes. Because ideally, like, your friend is already going to know kind of the vibe, right?
Yeah.
They're already going to have an idea in their head of who do they think you'd actually, that maybe either you get along with, you have some commonality with, or that like they could all be together as a big friend group. I think that's one of the best ways to expand your friendship.
You've introduced me to a lot of our now mutual friends.
Yeah.
Megan is another one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people came from this friendship.
Yeah. I mean, no surprise, right? Like, I feel like all of our girlfriends are like, we're all very similar.
Yeah,
like,
that's
our
true.
whole friend group is very similar.
It does help to find people that are similar to you. I think it's nice to have friends that aren't like you. I think you learn a lot from them, but it is also important to have friends that are like you. And so, because you don't want to feel like, oh, this person doesn't really get me, or we don't think alike at all. And we have fun together, but we have so many different ideas on, where our moral compass is or our values are. I think it is also important to find, people that way. And which I'm surprised we haven't mentioned, but like church can be a really good place to meet friends too.
Sure. Yeah.
I think it's a great place to meet friends. And even if you're like, I'm not like a gung-ho church girl, but I do believe in God, I think even going there to establish community can be good. Me and Jeremy keeps promising that we're going to go back regularly, and we haven't, so shame on me. But it's like, we know we'll make friends and we have friends that go on Sundays all the time that we could see. And so this is like something that we've discussed, because I think that it's a good way to meet good people.
Absolutely. And the final way that we have listed for if you're wanting to expand your friend group is, don't apologize for having standards.
Yeah.
It's okay to be selective around, especially for where you are in life.
Sure.
Right? So if you are 35 plus, even if you're 40 plus, maybe you're in an era of life where either significant other and or family is an important bucket for you. And that does take up some time. And so as a result, maybe you really want to pour into the relationships that you have around you with people who also have a significant other or also have children, meaning that they also make family important to them, or their relationships important to them. I think sometimes it can be really difficult if you are, for example, the only, let's say, single gal, and then all your friends are married with kids.
Right.
Or vice versa.
We should double tap on that, because because sometimes people are thrust into being single again that didn't plan on being single, and they were like, what if they wanted to have a kid and then it didn't happen? And it's like, I think it's also important for moms to put in a little effort for the friend that is also kind of feeling a little bit out of place. Like, don't make all your conversations about just your kids and your marriage. Try to also meet that person where they are when they're talking about dating again, because there's a lot of people who are getting divorced. It breaks up families. They lose people. And so just and just being mindful of being a good friend and not isolating people who are going through phases of life where you aren't in the same phase. It doesn't mean that you can't be friends with that person too.
Right.
But I agree with you. It's like, find friends who have things in common with you. It makes it easier to hang out. It makes it easier to make plans. There's a mutual understanding. Like, I get it because this is where I'm at in life too. And you don't want to just let everybody in just because they're nice, because sometimes you let bad people in who can, you know, be energy vampires. And so it's like being selective of your friendships, but also like giving it a chance, a real shot before you decide that this person is like a small talk, you know, like, oh, it didn't lead to anything deeper. Give it a beat, because some people, you know, they take a minute, especially after 35, to really open up.
What was a poor friendship mistake, or like a poor friendship that like you were in that you like realized later was not a good friendship for you?
I'm trying to think of one in specifically, because it's been a while since I had a friend that got drunk a lot, and she just overdrank every time we would go out. But I loved her when she wasn't drinking. And so we had such a good time. But as soon as she was drinking, it was like slurred speech. She was
like
really
too
loud.
much. It was too drunk.
And it would be embarrassing. And I had to like limit my time with that person because of their inability to control their alcohol. And it's kind of sad sometimes, because you're like, oh, they're such a great person when they're not drinking. And so I would see this person only during coffee or breakfast. I just refused to do the night events, you know, like anything at night. And, you know, that helped. And then I've actually had a couple friends like that, and one of them doesn't drink anymore. So, you know, you like live and learn. But I think that that's a situation that it's like touchy, because then you're like, what if they're going through a hard time and then they're just drinking excessive during this time? But also, like, I can't put myself in situations where you're being really loud and disrupting a restaurant all the time. And it's like a kind of embarrassing, and you kind of did the friend talk already, you know what I mean? So I say that that's a situation I know specifically that comes to mind.
How did you extract yourself from it? Was it more just like you just limited time and then it just faded over
I
time?
just got busy, you know what I mean? Like, we just kind of get busy. Like, I'm not going to say that there's like, I said, so I've brought it to this person's attention several times. And it was like, you know, like in the beginning, it's kind of like funny, or like, oh, this is funny because like that was a funny night. This is years ago, mind you. But I just pulled back. And then I don't know if she noticed that I was pulling back. I think she was kind of aware because she was embarrassed too. So it was sort of like a mutual, like, I understand why she is, but not pushing it. Instead, it was like, okay with the lunch only dates, nothing, you know what I mean? But it's sometimes you just have to have the tough conversation and be honest, like, hey, what you're doing in your personal, like, or in your life in general, can sometimes spill over into my life. And this will happen in different ways. What if this person does something in the public eye, or says something that you think is like a little bit against what you believe? I don't know how to say it. Like, I'm trying to give, what if they choose a path in life that's like what they do for a living? Or, you know what I mean? Like, you don't want your name attached to that person, because sometimes people do questionable things. And it's like, yeah, I can be friends with you, but I have to create a clear boundary, because what you decide to do in private or for work is now kind of out in the public. Not only that, but it's like against what I feel like is morally right. And sometimes you have to like create a boundary. Otherwise, birds of a feather flock together, and you're going to be associated to that person's actions.
Right.
So there's been a few cases like that.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I would never hang out with someone a lot that was on OnlyFans. Because I don't want people to assume I'm on OnlyFans. Like,
Right.
I sometimes you have to draw clear boundaries. Or like, I would never hang out with somebody a lot that had publicly cheated and was okay. Like, she was known cheater or something. Like, no, it was, you know, he was bad to me, so I cheated on him, and she was like fine with it. I don't want people to think I'm okay with the cheating. Like, I'm not. Like, if you're not going to try to fix the situation and be sorry, you know, if you're like a husband thief, like, I think it's good to have boundaries with your friendships that you have for yourself, because again, people do associate you to the actions of other people, and if you're condoning it by always being around it, like,
Right. Yeah.
or somebody with heavy drug use, you know, like, I mean, I think you're the same way. Like, we would just kind of like limiting our time with that person.
Yeah.
I have love for those people, and anybody that might be hurting or going through something or do make mistakes. I am so not perfect. I'm not talking about like a mistake. I'm talking about repeated actions and life choices, and you're steering down the wrong road and you're not changing paths. You got to like watch out how much time you spend with those type of people.
Completely agree.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. I had a relationship, a friendship, in my early 20s with a girlfriend of mine, actually, who I had met originally in college.
Mm-hmm.
And then we ended up like reconnecting. And of course, we were girlfriends, right? And like we're out partying together and doing all the things. And it was crazy because this went on for years. And I realized, like, now looking back at that friendship, that she actually wasn't my friend. You know what I'm saying?
Was she jealous, kind of jealous hater?
Yeah, what I realized was that I ended up finding out later that she like would talk about me behind my back with a girlfriend of hers who I'd met through her. So it was her girlfriend, but I just thought we were all friends, right? But it was actually, this is her friend. Yeah, I found out later that she would like talk about me, and they would like, yeah, they would talk about me. And I remember there was this event that we were all planning on going to, and like leading right up to it, she was like, oh, I don't feel good, my stomach hurts, blah, blah, blah. But then the second that she found out that I was going ahead and invite other people too, then all of a sudden she was like, well, I still want to go. And I just yeah, it was just a weird, like, I remember that only because I remember in that moment thinking like, is she only like around because she just feels like she like gets invited to stuff? You know what I mean?
And you're right. You know, women's
and I didn't
intuition.
like notice that, until like that moment happened. And then now, of course, looking back at the friendship, I realized like the only time she was around was when it like seemingly benefited her, right? And then yeah, we ended up actually having a falling out, and she was just like kind of rude to me, or she was rude to me. She was like really mean and rude to me.
True colors came out.
Yeah, and I was just like, oh, like I guess we aren't friends the way I thought we were.
Yeah, and you have to be aware of the people who also say that everybody else is saying bad things about you. This is kind of a weird thing that sometimes people do too. They'll be like, I've had somebody that would come to me and be like, oh, so and so is like talking bad about you, but it was weird because she kept bringing it up, and I never heard it from anybody else. And then I'm like, why are you here to always tell news to me that somebody else is saying something bad about me? And then I questioned whether or not they were, or if she was just kind of like slightly a negative hater that was like trying to make me stir the pot. And then
or get you to say something bad about someone else,
like,
so she could go to them. Yeah,
I watch people like that. Sometimes I'm like, oh my gosh, they did, what did they say? And then I'll leave it at that. But now I know that she's not someone that I can trust information with, because I don't know who's saying what and if it's true. So you have to be aware of those people too, who are always kind of like quick to tell you about somebody else saying something. Is kind of a new weird tool too, to like slowly bring you down.
Oh, I'm immediately like, if you are telling me someone else's secrets,
that's it, girl.
It's a red flag.
Yeah,
I'm
red
like alarm
flag.
bells going off. Like I'm like, I need to extract myself immediately.
Yeah, don't think that they're confiding in you. Look, if it's your like bestie of besties, then fine. But if they're like telling you always other people's secrets, even then though, we don't do that.
Stuff? No, like
we don't tell everybody.
We talk about our stuff.
Yeah, we talk about our stuff.
I'm not talking about someone else's stuff.
No.
So it's just
that's a bad sign.
Yeah, someone who's always like you're just gossipy, right? Like someone who always has something to say about someone else, or what they heard about someone else, or what someone else told them about someone else. Like
exactly. Avoid those people.
To one, I don't want to hear all of it.
I don't want to know
that. To like, I don't have time to sit there and talk to you about other people all the time. Like, what are we doing here, guys? Like,
I know. Much. So
it's crazy.
Yeah, there's just little flags that you'll see when you're trying to make friends that you also have to like lean into. But don't go out there feeling like everybody's a bad person, because they're not. No. Just because you have bad experiences doesn't mean that there's not good people out there. And you will find your crew if you look. I think that you have to be a good friend to find a friend, and it takes effort.
The initiative that we talked about, right? Like, don't have any pride around like, oh, like I'm the first to text, or I'm the first to invite. Like, I'm happy to do that. Great.
Everyone's gonna start texting you. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, but I have no fear around that, right? Like, it's not like I have some ego where I'm like, oh, well, they have to text me first, if they want to get together. Well, like, no, if I want to get together, I'm just going to text you. Hey, girl, like, are you busy next week? Like, are you busy next Thursday? Let's have lunch.
Exactly. And so we will be touching this topic through, at the time that we're creating podcast episodes, but don't forget to subscribe below.
Please subscribe.
We forgot to tell you, subscribe if you've listened and you like this. And we know over the course of, as this evolves, that it's going to turn into something more concretely too, not just a podcast. And we'd love you to be a part of that journey and give us feedback in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you and tell us what our next topic should be.
Appreciate you guys as always.